Palestine and also for ordinary people. So welcome Winter Boy Barrett, who's an MP in the Irish Parliament.
Thanks, comrades. Jesus, God save us from TikTok, though. Comrades, I don't need to tell you that we've all run out of words for the horror that we have witnessed over the last 8 months being inflicted on the people of Gaza. It's this genocidal barbarism just defies all description. It's taken horror to new and terrifying levels. The massacre of children, the massacre of innocents in their tens of thousands, the systematic destruction of churches, hundreds of thousands of homes, of the water infrastructure, of mosques, of the means to sustain human existence being done absolutely systematically, blatantly, and celebrated by the perpetrators, the soldiers and the criminals who preside over the Zionist regime. It really is horrific beyond any words or any description, and the idea that it is still going on 8 months later when it is happening in front of our eyes. As revolutionaries, we're not shocked by the horrors of capitalism, but I think most of us are shocked that this could still be going on. And it reveals a level of bankruptcy and moral bankruptcy and political bankruptcy and a sort of psychosis in the system that is capable of allowing this to happen, or that is perpetrating this. And of course, that is the stock and trade of the Zionist regime. That's what it has always done. From the very outset, it was about, as Cliff used to put it, Tony Cliff, the founder of the SWP, somebody who himself was born in Palestine, that what these people do is go out and create the facts on the ground to normalise the indefensible, to normalise the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in 1948, to normalise decades and decades of ongoing ethnic cleansing, to normalise apartheid, to normalise savage brutality on an ongoing basis against the Palestinian people, to normalise a 17 years criminal siege against Gaza, which even before the events of the last 8 months had reduced Gaza to the level of a permanent humanitarian catastrophe, and now to normalise genocide. The worst crime that human beings can commit, they want to normalise it. But none of this could happen without the active involvement, support, complicity isn't even a strong enough word, the direct involvement of the United States, Britain, Germany, and the major Western powers who provide them with the weapons, who provide them with the political cover and justification and support to continue to carry out this horror and to continue this horror. If the title of this meeting is about revolution, that in and of itself surely is enough to say we need a revolution against a system that is capable of this horror. And of course, as has already been alluded to, how could you not, as we did earlier on, celebrate the decimation of the Tory party that has presided over this horror, that has continued to support and give justification and provide some of the weapons that Israel is using to inflict this genocidal horror. It is a tremendous thing that they are gone. But it is depressing beyond any description that the person who is taking over, Keir Starmer, is somebody who justified the imposition of this horror, who said when asked, was it acceptable to starve people of water, food and electricity, he thinks it's okay. And because of a mass movement forcing him, he comes out with mealy-mouthed words about ceasefire or maybe recognising Palestine, but we all know that he's going to continue to provide the weapons and the support and the legitimacy to the regime that is capable of carrying this horror out that we are witnessing in Gaza and indeed across Palestine. And that is a depressing fact. That is a truly depressing fact. And people might look and ask about Ireland, and sometimes Ireland is presented as a somewhat brighter light on the horizon of Western complicity with the horror that is being inflicted on the Palestinian people. And it is true, and it's better than what we've got from Starmer or Sunak or many of the regimes, that recently we had the Irish government forced, and it's important to stress this, forced to give recognition to the Palestinian state, to recognise the Palestinian state formally, and indeed have been forced to call into question at least the favoured trade status that the European Union gives to Israel. And people should know, if they don't already, the biggest trading partner of Israel is the European Union. Without the essentially associate membership of the European Union that is provided to Israel, the favoured trade status, the weapons they get from Germany and other European states, they could not carry on this horror. The Irish government, this is a long-standing demand of the movement in Ireland, is to say that that agreement should be scrapped completely. It is absolutely unbelievable that a European Union that claims to represent civilized values and democracy, and indeed when it tries to justify its existence, it says that the key reason for the European Union to exist is to prevent the horrors of the Second World War and of the Holocaust, the genocide that was the Holocaust. And yet the European Union is up to its neck in the blood of murdered Palestinians as it continues to provide that favoured trade status, those weapons, to the regime that is capable of this. But what I want to say about Ireland is it is the mass movement that has forced the Irish government to take even these steps. But they are accompanied, when they talk about the recognition of a Palestinian state, they immediately then go on to say, but we reassert that the only solution to the conflict is a two-state solution. And they refuse to impose any sanctions whatsoever, meaningful sanctions, on the regime that is carrying out these horrors. Now that is of no use to us. This is just lip service that they have been forced to give, but in reality continue the complicity, refuse to expel the Israeli ambassador, continue to allow trade to carry on with Israel. And to me, this is why it is critically important in arguing, as we build the movement in solidarity with Palestine, that simply talking about Palestinian state recognition or a ceasefire is not enough. We have to say the regime that is capable of this genocide has no place in the civilized world. It has to be dismantled, lock, stock and barrel. The two-state solution, in effect, legitimizes apartheid. It legitimizes occupation. It effectively does away with the right of millions of Palestinians who were expelled in 1948 and since to return to their homes. That is not a just solution. That is not any solution. And in truth, the two-state solution is simply, as we've seen since the Oslo peace and so-called accords were signed, it's just a fig leaf which Israel uses to continue its process of apartheid, of expansion, of occupation and the seizure of Palestinian territory. So we need to be absolutely clear. The only way out of this is the same way that apartheid South Africa went. The whole regime has to be dismantled. All of the refugees have to have the right to return. And we must absolutely isolate Israel as we did with apartheid South Africa. But we know that will not be done by these governments who are complicit and who have justified this horror. It is only going to be done by the people on the streets, the millions and the billions who have taken to the streets over the last number of months. And that's why mobilising again after Starmer's victory in tomorrow's demonstration is critically important. Why the student occupations forcing their universities, as has happened in Ireland recently as well, where we forced through occupations a number of universities to break off all their research links and links with universities in the Zionist state. But we have to take it further, and that's the very last point I want to make. We have to build a movement. If we can't trust governments, if they are complicit with this, we have to build a political and revolutionary movement to challenge this rotten system. And we need to win over the hearts and minds of the mass of people who wanted to get rid of the Tories, who are undoubtedly sickened by what Israel is doing, to a genuine project of revolution and liberation. And that is the task for us, comrades. We have to build that organisation. Starmer's not going to do it. None of these governments across Europe who bowed sympathy with the Palestinian people have any intention of actually taking the meaningful action necessary to uproot the system that is capable of genocide or supporting that genocide. We have to build a revolutionary socialist organisation that will uproot the system that is capable of this horror, and I hope people here are up for building such an organisation.